Hello, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today I am here to give you some action ideas. One of the most common questions I get is, I know I have this goal, I know I want to achieve this thing, but I have no idea how to get there. And if I could just have a blueprint of all the steps I need to take from A to Z to accomplish this goal, then I could actually do it. Now, that may or may not be true depending on the goal. There might be other things that you need to work on, mindset shifts, implementing routines, whatever it is, but sometimes it's just the ideas and we don't know how to work on that goal. So I asked the members of my Patreon community to share with me which categories, which types of goals they struggle with the most when it comes to coming up with action ideas. And over the next 4 weeks, I'm going to do a video on the top 4 responses that I got. There are so many types of goals and I could make this type of a video for so many different categories. I am going to start with just these top 4 over the next 4 weeks, but I want you to let me know down in the comments what type of goal or what goal category do you struggle with the most when it comes to coming up with action ideas. And then I'll let you know if that category is coming soon in the next few weeks, or I will jot it down as an idea to do in the future if you're finding these videos helpful. So in each of these videos, I'm gonna go through 4 different things. The first one is just gonna be a general list of 10 ideas, 10 action step ideas that you could do one time, monthly, weekly, daily, however it works for you, just ideas for each type of goal. Then I'm gonna go through 5 questions to ask yourself to just jog some ideas, just some thoughtful questions that relate to that type of goal that might help you come up with ideas that are specific to you. Then I'm going to give you a book recommendation for each type of goal. Then we will wrap up the video with one general tip of coming up with action ideas for any type of goal that you can apply to any type of goal. And so by the end of the 4 weeks, you will have 4 tips to generally coming up with action ideas. All right, let's jump into our first goal category, which is personal development and growth. This is the hardest one, but it was also the most voted on, which I think is so interesting because personal development and growth is going to mean different things to different people. It's also one of those goals that we feel like we should have. It feels like that's a goal to develop as a person, personal development, growth, whatever that means to you. And so this video is going to be what I think of when I think of personal development and growth, but I want to make sure that you know there is no right answer. Really, that's true for any of these categories. There is no right answer, but this one in particular is going to be so personal to you that I might say something you're like, I would never ever want to do that. And that's fine. We are all different and personal development is going to be different for each of us. So let's kick it off with our list of ideas. Again, these are just in no particular order ideas that I had for this goal category, either things that I've done or things I've seen our community members do. And these could be things that you do one time, ongoing, lots of options here. So the first one is reading. This one shouldn't surprise you at all. For me, this is a really big source of personal development and growth, especially the books that I choose to read, which is why part of these videos is going to be a book recommendation for each of these goals. And again, reading could be something that you just do one time, once a month, you finish one book. Could be something that you are implementing every single day because it is something that brings you joy as well as provides a source of personal development and growth for you. The second one is to do an online course. This is another big one for me, something that I sign up for a lot with people that I admire. That's one of my tips. I get this question a lot. How do you pick online courses? And when it comes to business related things, which is not what we're talking about here, I typically go for something really specific. Like I really want to learn X, and so I'm gonna sign up for a course about X. When it comes to personal development, I very much like to sign up for courses or memberships or whatever it is with people that I admire. Like there are things about them I admire. Maybe I want something about their achievements or their life, something that I aspire to be or see like within them. Those are the types of courses that I will sign up for. The next one is meditation. This is just a recommendation for those of you who benefit from it. I am not those people. The next one here is one that I also have been trying to work on for years and something I'm still trying to implement better, and that is spending time away from technology. We in current day society are so bad at being bored because I am constantly picking up my phone, scrolling, reading, interacting to some extent with the outside world. And I think that some level of personal development and growth happens when we are not attached to technology or listening to something always in the background, right? Not even social media is what I'm talking about here, but like always having to have a Netflix show on in the background instead of just like being with my own thoughts. So spending less time with technology for me is a big part of personal development and growth. The next one on my list is therapy. This is gonna be one of those things that it either works for you and you really benefit from it, or it's not something that you're into. Take it or leave it. I personally do think that it is incredibly beneficial and a big part of personal growth for me. Another one I want to throw in here as like a thing I would like to do in the future but have not prioritized right now is learning a language. But it is one that I know a lot of our community members have participated in. We've talked about it on a lot of Patreon Q&A calls, is how to work on that skill and just the growth and development of learning something new. Along that same vein, another idea is to really dig into a personality test. There are so many personality tests, and if you've ever worked in corporate America, you've likely taken 1 or 7 as part of a work personal development course. But maybe you do it on your own, either because you no longer work in corporate America or there's one that you're really excited about. You can find a number of different tests online. There are books and books out there, and really dig into what that means for you and how you can utilize your strengths and weaknesses as part of that personality definition to help you go about your life and your goals. The next one is journaling. Another one that I like to do, and I know that it benefits me, but I'm not always good about doing it consistently, but really to me is a personal growth action. This next one might surprise you a little bit going into this category, because I do think that this idea can be applied to pretty much any category of goals, but I really do think that it helps you with your own growth, and that is to work on your routines. This is coming from my personal experience. My personal development and growth comes from having the mental capacity, energy, and like space to think about other things or to spend time with people that I love and not worry about, did I get all of the things done? That space for me is created by working on my routines, by having routines in place to make sure that I get all the things I need to get done, to make sure that I am not worrying about all of the things I have going on in my life. It gives me the space to then spend that mental energy and capacity on personal development and growth, whether that is just sitting there and being with myself, or whether that's actually going out and doing one of the other activities. I do think that creating solid routines gives me the space to do that. And the last idea I have for this category is to create a vision board. And this might seem like, well, Laken, it's May. Why are you telling me to do this in the middle of the year? I don't think vision boards need to only be reserved for the end of the year and the beginning of the year. There are so many different facets of a vision board, or the process of creating a vision board, that I think are really beneficial to personal growth. One of them just being the ability to dream and to think about what you want in life, to think about what you would like your life to look like or feel like or be like. It doesn't also have to be a time frame. This could be a vision board for the rest of your life, right? Like I could make a vision board for my entire life and have countries I want to travel to, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, all kinds of things that I have no really timeline for, but things I would really like to be a part of my life at some point. I also really love the idea of creating very specific vision boards, right? Vision boards that are specific to a certain type of goal. Maybe you've started saving up for your dream house and you want to make a vision board about that dream house. What is it going to look like? What's the decor going to be? All of these ideas and things are a way to grow. And it's not something that you need to implement right this second. We don't always need to make vision boards that we're gonna take action on yesterday, right? It can be about things that you're dreaming of for the long term. All right, let's move into the 5 questions that I came up with to ask yourself to come up with some ideas for personal development and growth that are specific and unique to you. The first one is, what is a skill I would like to learn? We talked about the example of learning a new language. What is it? It doesn't have to be something so like even useful, right? It could be just a skill that you want to have. Maybe you want to learn how to do some sort of activity. I have a friend right now that's taking golf lessons because that's a skill that she wanted to learn. There is no like right answer. It's what is it? What is it that you want to learn how to do? The next question is similar to that, but the question is, what is a skill I would like to improve upon? What is something that you kind of already know how to do, but you would like to be better at it? Something you consider yourself an amateur at, but you enjoy doing. What is that skill? What is something that you would like to improve upon? The next question is, what is a personality trait that I would like to strengthen? Is there something that you wished you felt more confident doing? Maybe it's confidence. Maybe you wish you were more confident, or maybe you wish you were a better listener. Maybe you wish you had a little bit more patience. No, just me. Is there a personality trait that you would like to learn and get a little bit better at? Working on that is a great idea for personal growth. The next question is, what would get me out of my comfort zone? You see those pictures all the time where it's like, growth happens when you exit your comfort zone. And And I don't disagree. I do think there is a massive amount of growth that comes when you get out of your comfort zone, but I also do think you can grow in other ways as well. But getting out of your comfort zone is a surefire way to work on your personal growth. So what would that look like for you? And I don't mean like embracing your number one fear, like convincing me to go into like a room full of snakes. Sure, that would be some level of personal growth that I would absolutely despise. But maybe it's something like speaking in front of a crowd and starting small with like a small group presentation at work and building your way up. But what is it that would get you out of your comfort zone? And the last question is, what would make you happier? That question feels very simple, but also very complicated at the same time. But just ask yourself, what would make me happier? And how can you implement that and turn that into a goal? All right, moving into book recommendations, I actually have two for this type of goal because I could not pick. And the first one is Soundtracks by Jon Acuff. I think that this book is a must read for anybody who is struggling with negative mindsets. If you've ever thought about working on being a more positive thinker or saying more nice things to yourself, I highly, highly recommend this book. The other personal development book that I always recommend, it should come as no surprise to you, it's a pink one right there, and that's Fear is My Homeboy by Judy Holler. This book opened my eyes to a lot of things that I was struggling with when it came to my own personal fears and how that was impacting my life. I don't even have a better way to say that, but that book had a massive impact on my personal growth. All right, lastly, let's talk about this week's general tip. So again, these are gonna be tips that you can apply to any goal category. That it's not specific to this category. I just want to leave you with a general idea in case this goal is not something that you were planning to focus on this year or even in the near future. So my general idea tip this week is to keep a running list of ideas. You have heard me talk about this before, but I think of goal-related ideas all the time. And I need to have a place where I can jot down those ideas at any given time. I am usually keeping multiple running lists of ideas all the time. I am not saying you need this many different lists, but let me share with you the types of lists that I keep. So I always keep a goal idea list for the next month. That keeps me from piling on things mid-month. I've already set my goals for this month. If I have another idea that is related to the goals that I'm currently focused on, my current quarterly goals, I put it on next month's idea list. The next list is for the rest of the year. So when I come up with ideas that apply to my overall annual goals, but not necessarily something that I can do in the short term, and whether that's because it's not a quarterly focus or it just doesn't make sense in the time period that I'm in, it's really a later this year kind of idea, it goes on that list. And then I'm always keeping an idea list for next year. Now, the further out we get, right, from next month to later this year to next year, the more vague the action steps get. The ones for next month are gonna be way more specific in terms of action steps. As we get closer to later this year, really next year, it may not be action step ideas, it may just be goal ideas, but those goal ideas will then turn into action step ideas within the following year. The last list I always keep is long term. What are the action ideas or goal ideas that I have for the long term? Something that doesn't make sense to happen within the next year or two. One of these for me is learning a new language. I would love to learn a new language, but right now it's not something that I'm going to prioritize my time, so it stays on my long-term list. But if all of that sounds way too complicated for you, create just one list. Create one space that you store action ideas for any goal-related activity that you want to work on. That way, whenever you have an idea, when they pop up, when you're in the middle of cooking dinner, when you are out on a walk, whenever you get that idea, you're able to go write it down. It doesn't have to be the most perfect, beautiful place either. It doesn't have to be this like beautiful list that you're gonna share with the world. This list is just for you. It is meant to be a place for you to capture all of your amazing goal action ideas. So with that, I hope that this video was helpful, whether you're working on personal development goals or you are just trying to come up with some more ideas for your goal action steps. Again, we've got 3 more of these videos coming with 3 other categories for the rest of this month. If you like these videos, if you're finding them helpful, please give it a thumbs up. And if you're new here, please click that subscribe button. I upload new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday focused on helping you achieve your goals. Thank you so much for watching. I'm gonna start over. The most when it comes up with coming, that doesn't make any sense. I've seen our community members done. There are so many different fashions. Why is that my example? So my general goal teacher, idea pick, I can't talk.